Give me your definition of peace.
I had to look that up, right? Because I was like, now you have a lot of people saying, with the events, recent events that we went through, that a lot of people are, I ain't with that peace stuff, and we ain't with that peace stuff and all of that. So I had to look that up, and basically, peace is something that is a tranquil situation, free from conflict. And so, yeah, you ain't got to be with peace, but at least, having a tranquil environment for our children to grow up in, for our elders to feel like they're safe on the front porch, or that they can walk down the street, and do some of the things we got to do when we were kids, like hang out, up under the street lights or whatever, without fear of getting hit by a stray bullet, or, being mistaken for someone that's active and doing things in the street. So peace, if that's the word that people don't want to use, then so be it. But if you look up the definition of peace, then I think the things that come with that would be a great thing for our community. And it's like, what are we going to do? Kill each other till the last Negro gone or something? So it's like we've done everything else but be able to show that we have the intelligence and the heart and the discipline to make our communities places where we can thrive. The other day I rode through Koreatown, and I'm looking at Koreatown, and they got banks with Korean writing on them. All the businesses have Korean writing on them. The streets are clean. Everybody's spot is well taken care of and stuff. So you go up Broadway, you go up Normandy, you go up Crenshaw or whatever, and it's like, what do we have? And we've been here as long as anybody. So we can't even get together on a business scale to help uplift our community. Even those with the means to do so aren't really willing to invest back into the community to have our own town. When you look at Koreatown, they can do all their shopping there. They can do all their banking there. They can, if they need a loan for a house, they can go in there and do that. And then let's think about how much of that money that they're pouring into those banks and stuff are coming from nail shops in our hood, um, bundles that get sold in our hood, the corner liquor store in our hood. So they come and build themselves up off of our backs and look at you crazy when you come in the store to buy something, and follow you around like all of us are thieves or something. So we got a long way to go. I mentioned it in one of your other videos we did. If we start today, it's going to be 50, 100 years till we even start getting, in the right direction and being able to put ourselves in position to do those things. So hopefully the younger generations coming up won't be as afraid to network together and pool their resources to do things not only for self, but for things that are going to benefit the community.
You talked about peace amongst our black brothers, and you talked about the opening up businesses in your own neighborhood. So that reminds me immediately of Nipsey Hussle. What did you think about him opening up businesses in his community?
Well, I mean, you look at this brother who you can tell by, I've watched some of the videos and things that they have on him on YouTube, and you can tell that this was a young brother who was evolving, a young brother who had I'm gonna say a universal, Pan-African perspective. And when I say that, that means that he was actually had connections to his father's place of birth, and to civilization that, you know, they can trace their civilizations back hundreds and thousands of years. So to see the work that the brother did, and knowing that they used to kick him out of that little shopping mall, and then he put his money and resources together, and you go back and buy the mall, and now the same people that didn't want you out there selling CDs got to pay you rent every month. That's major. I mean, that's major, and it's that should be somewhat of a blueprint for all of us. But at the same time, there's a certain type of jealousy, maybe envy in our community, that this brother was still connected to the community, but he was becoming universal. He was about to probably blow up really big.
This is my first album, so you know that's important, that's special. I feel like 2018 was loaded with great rap releases, so you know I'm excited to be one of the ones that got recognized by the Grammys.
Because of his Grammy nomination, and just the fact that he brings a different perspective. Here's a young man that can articulate his perspective very well, and I had nothing but respect for that. Even, knowing the fact that we're from different tribes. I mean, tribes that have been at it for almost 50 years or something, but you have to give credit where credit is due. And brother did some great things, not only for him, himself, and family. So that could help to be a roadmap for others who say that they want to do things and help their community.
You know, it's ironic that Allhood Publications, issue 6. Nipsey Hussle on the blue side, Inglewood Family on the red side.
And that was like, when I was coming out here, I said, I hope that, doesn't reflect to, you heard Minister Farrakhan and talking about all the sixes.
In the book of Revelations, it says, here's wisdom. Count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, 600, which is 60, and 6. But the beast mark is the mark of a man, that a man came up out of living the life of a beast. And I'm saying this to my hip-hop community, to my young brothers and sisters. You live like the mark of the beast is in your forehead and in your hands. For it is so easy for us to murder one another, to kill one another, to disrespect one another, to disrespect our women. But out of that 60, there was a man. A man rose above the mark of the beast and the mind of a beast, and became a man, a giant, a spiritual man.
I'm always careful when I come home because it's just that's how I grew up, and it helps me when I do come back appreciate where I'm at, but it also helps instill that thing that all of us from LA have, or Inglewood. We have Compton. We're proud of where we come from, and it's like everything that came out of Inglewood ain't bad. Everything out of Compton ain't bad. Everything out of South Central ain't bad. There's a lot of success stories coming out of there. So that issue 6, people slept on the magazine, and that, you were out front in terms of a lot of things years ago.
How old are you now, Caesar?
62, about to hit 63 this year.
Have you ever went back to school or thought about going back to school?
Yeah, actually, I went back to school and got a bachelor's degree in human relations and family therapy. And my reason I wanted to position myself to do some work with young people in Charlotte, in the Charlotte community, and also just because it was on my bucket list that was one of the things that my father pushed education a lot, and the fact that when he passed away, he was one of the few black men with a master's degree at that time. So I wanted kind of to go back and get that bachelor's degree to pay homage to my father and what he accomplished.
Congratulations on that, man. Can you tell us why you left the hood?
When my father died, I had nice amount of money to could have done, a lot of things. I actually at one time owned some apartments out in Culver City. So I was kind of set up for success had I had my head on right and had I had a good financial education from my dad or from the community or whatever. So there are a lot of us that have been left resources by our parents and things, and by us not knowing how to handle money. They say a fool and his money are soon parted, and basically all the gang banging and the drinking and everything else and buying cars and all of that and going to jail, having a $5,000 bond and bonding right out, so I wasted a lot of money, a lot of time. So at the time when I left, man, I was basically homeless. So my idea was that, I'm going to go out here to North Carolina, get back on my feet, and I'm coming back to Cali. And it just never happened that way. So at that time also, it was kind of like I'm one of the only G's left from my neighborhood on the street. So I'm a target. And I even had cops from the IPD would ride by me and do their fingers and they'd say, bang, bang, you're dead. They call me by my last name, you're dead. So they actually, they hated me because I used to talk junk every time I got pulled over. Thought I was Huey Newton, Hey, you got no right to be pulling me over, blah, 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 cussing them out. A lot of the stuff we did back then, we'd have got killed for in this day and time. But so when I left, had I not left only there's only two things that were probably going to happen to me with the mindset that I had at that time. And that's I was either going to be dead or I was going to be locked away, you know, for decades, which a lot of, we're seeing a lot of our homeboys and stuff come home after, you know, 20s, 30s. 40 years that they were gone. So that's the only thing, that's where I was headed. So going to North Carolina saved my life, I'm sure, or saved me from that L note.